What's up, fellas? I feel like a kid at Christmas because all the cool parts that we ordered for our Drifter Cross Build Series bike came in. And would you just look at it? We've got Legend suspension, progressive nitrogen fork kit. We got the pipe, the chain kit, all kinds of goodies. But we're going to talk a little bit about why we're making these changes and what it's going to do to the bike with it for its performance. So this is a tried and true recipe that has been proven on the AMA Pro Drifter Cross Series. Brennen Baptista, I think he got a third overall for the year. He's a pro motocross rider who's doing this Drifter Cross Series also and has big plans for this year. But his bike started life the exact same model as this. This is a 2007 Sportster 48, which are available pretty reasonably priced. It's a good starting point. It's 560 pounds, so it's about 100, well over 100 pounds lighter than the Dyna. It's a little bit shorter and lower to the ground, easier to maneuver. So it's almost like cheating, but not quite. It's still a Harley V-twin. So this bike started life, the 48, started out with a massive 16-inch front tire, very similar, actually the exact same as on a Harley Fat Boy or a Harley Heritage, which is designed to look cool, and it had a 10-inch wide glide front end, same 39mm size forks, but they were spread out, and the rake and trail and everything was not set up optimum. So for proper performance, a 19-inch mag front wheel from a 2000, actually, excuse me, this is a 2010 bike, I'm sorry. The front end's off a 2007 Harley-Davidson Sportster. So we removed the 48 wide glide front end and rim, and we put on this 39mm narrow glide. We put on the mag wheel. We have the LED headlight that we installed, which is much brighter than the stock one, which would be great for night riding. We put a Mustang saddle on it, which has a lot more support than the stock one. And the next thing we had to do is the 48 came with forward controls, which is great for cruising when you're kicking back on your way to the beach with your girl. But when you want to be sliding around corners, you got to have mid controls. We want the moto style pedals, pegs, and of course the mid controls. So a lot of these changes are being made so the motorcycle performs properly. And if you look at the specifications of this bike, it comes with a 29-degree rake. We wrote down here, 29-degree rake and a 7-inch trail. And what does that mean? Well, that means that the angle of this head right here comes from the factory at 29 degrees. And the trail, that's the amount of distance between, if you take a straight tool like this and go directly to the ground, and then you take your tape measure and you go directly out to the front here and you put a mark on the ground here, then you measure it. Guys, I messed up. You're actually supposed to measure from the middle of the steering tube, not the middle of the fork, to get your trail measurement. It's the first time I've done it on camera, and I've studied the literature on doing it, but doing it in front of a camera is a different thing, so I screwed up. The trail should be closer to 4-inch. When we get it back on the floor, I'll measure it with this new setup and from the proper spot, which is the center of the steering stem. Your trail on this motorcycle, the way it's sitting, is about 7 inches. So if you look at a sport bike like a Buell running the same engine, the trail on a S1 Thunderbolt is 3.5 inches, about half. For a flat track bike, a purpose-built flat track bike, it's about 2.5 inches is the optimal amount. So you can change this rake and trail setting through a number of things. One, well, of course, the factories, when they're making choppers, they have the rake way out like this, so that the rake would be much more. And on a road race or a trials bike, it's way less. So this started life with a 29-degree rake and a 7-inch trail. The way you modify that is these shocks on the back here are hugger shocks. They're 11-inch shocks. They're very short. And the shocks that we're going to replace it with are the Legend shocks. So to measure a shock length, you measure from the middle of the eye to the middle of the eye. And you got to see these shocks. This is what all the cool guys are running, all the stunt riders are riding. And just look at the quality of these. Now, I'm going to start by saying Legend's American made. All right, we're an Öhlins dealer too. They come from Sweden. I figured on this American bike, this is a very American sport drifter cross. We choose the hottest setup made in America. These Legends have an excellent reputation amongst the stunters and the drifter cross guys. And just look at this. These are the Revo Arc piggyback shocks. They'll fit a 2004 to 2022 Harley-Davidson Sportster. And they're made right here in South Dakota, right near Sturgis. So they must be cool if their shop's out at Sturgis, right? So these guys are at all the rallies. They support the products they sell. You can buy them at all major rallies. They'll install them while you wait. And they're fully adjustable nitrogen Legend shocks. You can adjust the rebound dampening at the bottom here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It was set 6 out. you want to start out at 4. So there's a click, like 1, 2, 3. You want to start 4 clicks out, and you want to make sure both shocks are set the same way. So you have a starting point, and the same thing with the compression dampening up at the top here. You want to go 4 clicks out. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it was already set at 4. 1, 2, 3, right from the factory. So you want to go as a starting point, and when you set the bike up, now if you measure these shocks from eye to eye, these are going to be 14 inches from eye to eye, which is an additional 3 inches of shock height. So you're jacking the end of this bike up a total of 3 inches, and you got to admit these look super sexy, right? So they look the business for sure. One of the cool things about Legend is everybody's got a different color for their bike, right? So these blue decals just clash totally with what's going on with this bike. And if you look at this, you can order a different decal right from Legend. This one is orange and gray, which matches the orange and gray and black color scheme of the bike perfectly. So they have different lengths you can order from them. They have we actually used a black set of Legends on our last FXR build. That one, we went with a 13-inch because that was a setup for street riding, not for stunting and drifter cross, but just a beautiful set of suspension. So once we bring the end of this bike up 3 inches, that's going to, what is that going to do? Well, this angle on the steering stem here, which is now 59.4 degrees, it's going to, we got this clinometer here, which tells you how many degrees it's at. And what it's going to do is the forks, when you jack up the end, it's going to drop the angle of the fork a little bit. So now our trail is going to be somewhere about right here, which will be substantially less than 7 inches. The more trail you have, the more stable the bike will be, and the better it is for like the Bonneville salt flats. The less trail you have, i.e. for a speedway bike, could be like 2.35 inches, or a flat track bike, the quicker it will turn. So this bike is going to be set up for drifter cross and stunting, which is mostly done under 50 miles an hour. So we want to have less trail and less rake. So that can be accomplished a couple ways. One, with the shocks, which are going to be light years better than these Harley shocks. Now, keep in mind, this 438 was built as a boulevard cruiser, like a Fat Boy. It wasn't designed for performance, but it's the same frame. They build the Sportster 883 and what is it, the XR 1200, the Roadster, the one with the performance forks that is set up, so this frame can be set up to work well. The other thing that changes is the rake of the bottom of the frame rail right here. This isn't lifted off the ground, it's just barely supported, but if we put this clinometer on here, we can find out how many degrees. This is, it looks like it's tilted to the back a little bit, so once we jack it up, it'll be tilted a couple degrees to the front, which will be nice too. We'll have way more ground clearance. If you're watching the first video, I was dragging pegs, just going around the driveway without even trying hard. She's dragging. We also put a set of 4-inch risers on here, along with the stock bars to get the bars up a little bit higher. And the next thing we want to change is the bars, because these bars have a sweep back that is too far. So you're riding like this. So we went with these Built-Well ink bars for a bunch of different reasons. They're really high quality, and of course they're blacker chrome. They match the bike. But if you look at these bars, the way they're set up on here is there's less sweep back, so you're gonna have way more control when you're at full lock. If you're at full lock with this bend, your arm's gonna be way in here, so you can have more control and more leverage on the motorcycle too, because they're about 1 inch wider per side. So proper bar placement is key. I'm always I race motocross, still do. Done hill climbs and raced motorcycles since I was 10 years old. So I'm real picky about bar placement and suspension setup and getting everything dialed in the way it needs to be. So these bars are going to be a big plus to go with those rear shocks. And of course, the grips on this bar, these are the original Sportster grips. Check them out. They're getting kind of worn out and they're kind of sticky. They're just beat. So we're going with probably the hottest grip on the market. It's a V-twin lock-on grip set from Hart Luck, Perry Hart, famous stunt rider. And check these out. This is just what you would find like on a good Uri motocross grip or something that it feels like. I just feel like I have so much more control of the bike with a good set of grips. And the other thing too is I broke my leg the day after I got my amateur plates in 1980, July 11th. I got my amateur plates. I won all 4 motos at Southwick, and I went out riding at the sand pits, and I flew over this big downhill jump. And I was 15 years old. My bike maintenance was good for a 15-year-old, but I was no expert, and my grips weren't glued or locked on, and it slipped. My grip slipped off, and I crashed and completely snapped my leg in half, my tib and fib, which ended my season that year. But so I'm real stickler about having these lock-on grips. You actually, when you put them on, you can glue them and you can screw them on, so there's double protection. They won't come off, and your control of the motorcycle will be much better. So that's really key. This is the Arlen Ness Big Sucker intake. The stock intake is much bigger. This has a little bit more room for your knee to move around, but more importantly, it breathes really good. This bike was 100% bone stock when we started on it. The next thing is the front suspension. Frankly, the front suspension on a Harley-Davidson sucks. It's terrible. It's the same technology they've had on the forks since the 70s. A lot of Sportster riders aren't demanding for just regular street use. It's fine. Also, this is a dampening cartridge. They're not adjustable at all. So we did a bunch of research. Legend has a great suspension kit too, but with the Legend kit, you got to go 2 inch over on the fork, which would raise the front end 2 inch and decrease, or it's going in the opposite direction. That would increase our rake and trail by giving it more of a chopper look. You can put the Legends on and then pull you have to go with 2 inch over fork tubes, which are like, I don't know, $250 for the silver ones, $350 for the gold ones, and like $400 for the black ones. So it's a big chunk of change, and they look cool. But you can pull it up in the fork tube right here, and it would give you some adjustability. If you were going to go road racing, you could drop them down. This bike, the way it's set up, you could go to a Penguin road racing school. When we're done setting this thing up, make no mistake, you take this to the banks of Daytona and rip this thing, or Thompson Motor Speedway or Laconia. It's being set up for performance, spirited riding, with, of course, the main goal to be a drifter cross, competitive, national caliber drifter cross bike. Maybe we'll get Brennan to run this thing at one of the rallies and see how he does on it, because we can build the bike, but I can't ride like him. I'm going to practice. I'm going to try it, but it's a whole different sport, and it takes thousands of hours to get as good as those guys are. But I'm going to have some fun riding this thing. I'm really excited about it. The suspension, the progressive suspension, if you look at this thing, it's light years better than anything that's inside that Harley fork right now. And these are adjustable. They have these preload clips. You can put extra preload. It comes with the clips and the springs here. So these are the topper springs. You have the clips? Yeah, here they are. This is a progressive suspension preload clips. So you can put 1 or 2 or none on there. I'm going to go with 2. But these are this is a nitrogen. Sealed nitrogen progressive fork kit, and high performance suspension product. It's Olin's makes an insert kit too. We're a dealer for Olin's, but these were a great value. These were only, what are these, $200, $300?
$300, yep.
$300 in the Olin's were like $1,000, and we're trying to build this thing sort of on a budget, but make some halfway intelligent purchasing decisions. We really wanted to try these because our normal go-to is the progressive springs. And the springs, what they do is make it stiffer, and you put 20-weight fork oil in there. But it's not really a better dampening system. It's just stiffer. So this is going to give us much better control and performance. At least we think it's going to. I haven't used these yet. I've used the Legends. I know they're great. I haven't used this kit, but we'll tell you the truth on what we think about them when we're done. And hopefully it'll be a great experience. Of course, we're going to a heavier fork oil. I thought we were doing 20.
The kit actually calls for 10 weight.
Okay, that's
so
right.
We're going by dealer instructions.
Yeah, because this has a different dampening system.
Right.
It uses a lighter oil. Are those adjustable for compression or rebound? I don't recall.
Your rebound's adjusted, with these clips.
I thought that was for the preload.
Yeah, preload. That's what I meant.
Yeah, I have to read the directions.
Yeah, we got to go through the directions a little more and really understand how they're set up.
So with 3-inch longer shocks, much better dampening rods in the fork. We're not increasing the length of the forks, but they're going to squat a little bit less because it's going to have more preload, and much better dampening and performance. So when you slam it down off of a 12 o'clock wheelie, it's not going to bottom out completely. These wheels should be much better than the spoke wheels also that were on there as far as durability. So the next thing that Brennan and all the guys doing drift across the Stunt do is they do a chain drive conversion. A couple different reasons. These belts are great, they're very durable, but the chain give you the ability to adjust the gearing much easier. This is this is from TC Brothers. This one comes with a 51 tooth sprocket on the back and a matching 22 on the front. We'll probably get a different countershaft sprocket cover for it from TC Brothers also. We didn't order that yet, but we're not doing it all at once. This is a spacer for the front sprocket, and then it comes with some really cool hardware for the sprocket on the back. We ordered a now this is 5122 is close to the stock gearing. We ordered what was it, a 55?
55, yeah.
We ordered a 55 tooth rear sprocket. Brennan's running a 57. We're gonna try a 55. So that's 4 teeth more. That's gonna make a pretty dramatic difference on the performance from 0 to 50 right off the line, which is where you're running with the drifter cross. Speaking of performance, the elephant in the room, oh God, or maybe not the elephant in the room, but the pipe in the room here is this absolutely stunning exhaust system right here. And this is a full stainless Road Rage 3. This is our high performance Road Rage 3. The welds are just beautiful on it. Things like a work of art, and the whole pipe turns like gold, and it's stainless steel, so it'll never rust. It's substantially lighter than the stock exhaust, and it's going to sound 1,000 times better. It's comes with a stainless end cap. Bassani makes some really primo products, and as far as the drifter cross market goes, I don't think there's anything better than this. Look at this thing. This with those shocks, it's gonna. We thought about going black on the shocks and the pipe, but there's a lot of black on the bike, and we wanted the performance bits to pop. So we want this thing to look cool, sound cool, and run cool. So, oh, I almost left out one of the most important things. This tire right here. This is a Shinko 777. This is the preferred stunter tire. There's nothing better on the market than the SR 777 HD heavy duty. It's set up for a Harley-Davidson with the extra weight. But if you feel the rubber compound on this Dunlop, this is a newer Dunlop compared to this is much softer. Now they wear a lot quicker, but it's only, what was it, $80 for the tire?
Yeah.
The tires are dirt cheap and they handle like a dream. So the rear tire is it is important, but as a novice beginning drifter cross rider, I'm gonna just smoke up the tire that's on it and then put some takeoffs on it until I get the hang of it. Then I'll ask Brennan and the guys what's a hot setup. I think it's a Shinko rear also, but they're not the 777 because with that much traction, you won't be able to slide and you can break transmission parts. What model is the one?
They prefer the 999.
The 999 on the rear. So we'll probably be running that. I usually like to run Michelin just because it's American made and I'm not even sure if Shinko is made, but the name like Shinko, I'm thinking it's from China. If it's America, then they need to change the name. But Shinko, it sounds very Chinese to me. But you can't mess with success. So the bike has gone through a lot of changes already. There's a bunch more coming down the pike. I went through the detail shop where we thoroughly, believe it or not, there was 10 hours of detailing done on this bike. It may not look like it, but every square inch of it was polished from the bottom of the frame rails to the top of the bars. And we did not polish or paint the exhaust or the shocks or the chain guide because all that's coming off. So in the forks, these forks are coming off. These fork lowers, take a look at them right now up close. And then show them this side too, because this side looks especially gnarly. These are the stock reflectors. We took those off, and they're all a little marred up. Pretty common. The clear coat will fade on these, so we're going to do a 3-stage process on that where they're sanded and polished like chrome. We thought about powder coating them, but it's got a lot of aluminum on it, and we still might go that right. But what we're going to do first is polish all the aluminum, put it together, and see how it looks. And then if we don't like it, we'll send them out for powder coat. A couple items are getting repainted. This left side cover's got some nicks and scratches in it, which is, we want it to look good before it's ready for the track, right? So we're gonna paint it. Hopefully it won't get damaged while it's sliding. Probably gonna take off. I'm torn between leaving this backrest on here in case Christy and I wanna take it for a ride out for ice cream or coffee or something when we're down in Daytona. And she flew off the back of my FXR doing a wheelie, so I really, since then, I kind of don't ride with her on the back without a backrest. But Oh, we also have a brand new, I was walking through the museum and I had in the back of mine, I was like, this tank is damaged. One of the reasons we got a really good deal on this bike is the tank is damaged on both sides. I have a brand new NOS tank that was on display in the museum, brand spanking new. So once we get it all dialed in, we're gonna put the new tank on it. Oh, and I got a killer graphics package. I got to show you guys. Christy didn't really want me to show it until it was ready for prime time, but she's actually coming here today to do a Sly Fox. Alex Fox is the proprietor and owner of the Drifter Cross series. This is an AMA sanctioned #1 pro plate series. It's not some amateur shit. And there's a couple copycat series coming up, but this is the only one that's AMA certified. You can get an AMA #1 plate if you go there and win one of these rallies. So this Sly Fox logo is going on the side right here. This Drifter Cross will go on the back right here. Now she's got this really cool Sly Fox Drifter Cross Sportster logo that's going to go right here. And I don't know where the other stickers are going, but probably going to put something cool on the forks, but we're going to make it look like a competition bike. One thing that's not in yet is the Bung King kit. We bought a full Bung King Stunters kit. Do you know where did any of the parts come in from Bung King?
No, they make them to order. So right now they're in the process of building all the stuff for us.
So when you do stunt riding, I was watching Cruisy Originals. They have the best tutorial stunt riding video I've ever seen. I've watched it a few times already. Guy's a madman and real pro level stunt rider. And he said in his video, he said, don't do this unless you're prepared to get hurt. And I don't want to get hurt doing it, so I'm probably not going to be doing the 12 o'clock dragging the rear fender. But I'm hoping that my expert pro level dirt bike skills from racing motocross for 50 years now, because I'm going to be 60 in the spring, and I started when I was 10. Hopefully some of that will translate towards sliding. And the Drifter Cross series isn't that dangerous. People have got hurt doing it, but they're not going over 50 miles an hour, and it's a controlled environment. So there's no one's going to pull out in front of you. They're not going to have deer run in front of you. It's on a racetrack. It's AMA sanctioned, and seems to be relatively safe. But I'm looking forward to trying this out. It's all coming together. Stay tuned for the next episode.